if Malcolm has 2 or 3 beers in him, we'll do it.
That's the way.
I know.
Get him drunk and do a SModcast.
Yeah.
Let me talk. Cut off my dick if this ain't true.
Yeah.
And he's talking about unicorns or something.
I know, totally.
I love Malcolm to death. Malcolm's one of my dearest friends, but he's a funny dude. We were talking about the last time, not the last time he stayed here, but the time before it. He went out. He was the last one out of the house. We all went out to eat, and we came back, and the door was slightly ajar. It was open about 4 or 5 inches, but you could have walked in the house. Normally, the door you pull it closed, and it locks behind us, and there's a keypad that you use to get in. It's a keyless entry system. But he left. He was the last one out the door, and he didn't pull it closed all the way, so it didn't catch. So it kind of hung open, and then, because he asked me, I remember how it came out. I was talking to Brian Johnson about horror movies. Brian Johnson was talking about his sister didn't want her kids to watch Drake and Josh because there's kissing in it, and Brian was flabbergasted because she has been showing those kids horror movies since they were kids, since they were infants. Now one's 11, one's 9, but they saw Saw when it came out originally, and Saw was a pretty graphic movie for a kid. And Brian was just like, I don't fucking understand. And he's like, would you ever show Harley a horror movie? I was like, dude, I showed her Gremlins and I regretted it because she freaked out about it. I know. And I said, she's easily fucking rattled. I said, and he was like, what's the scariest thing? Does she get nightmares? And I said, she never really had nightmares about gremlins, but she did have nightmares about the time Malcolm left the door open, because when we got home and it was slightly ajar, we probably shouldn't have reacted the way we did, Jen and I, but we reacted like...
We did a sweep of the house.
We had to do a sweep of the house and check every room and every closet and the fucking panic rooms and the side doors and the secret entrances and shit like that and exits. Had to do an entire sweep of the house, and the kids saw us go into lockdown mode and wigged, and then started having dreams about somebody coming into the house and shooting her and shit. So
good old Malcolm.
Yeah, good old Malcolm. But Malcolm, other than that, he's a good guy. He's just kind of under his.
You know what else he did to Harley?
What?
He was watching the house for us. What the fuck were we thinking? And Harley had that horrible hamster that Jay gave her, Angel. So we come back, and Angel's cage is duct taped back together. Fucking Malcolm somehow managed to knock Angel's cage from its perch. It went crashing to the ground and broke. She's like, what happened?
It was jerry-rigged like some kind of
you don't go out and buy a new fucking hamster cage. It's a generic hamster cage. There was nothing special about it. You could have replaced it. Nobody ever had to know.
It was like when the Little Rascals would build a soapbox racer, and it was put together as spit and glue, and it just looked homemade. This cage went from looking like something you bought in a store to looking homemade. Insane. A dude who was just like Joe Gorelli on news radio, and he was just duct taped the entire thing together. And we were like, what the fuck happened?
Right.
And Malcolm was like, I don't know. I walked in the room, and it just fell, and I wasn't near it. And I mean, at least I found the hamster. He's always finding an at least for you. At least I got the hamster, but
One more Malcolm story, and then we can move on, because this is one of my favorites. When we were in New Jersey... in the Rumson house, and he was staying in the basement, and the toilet in the basement overflowed sewage all over the basement. And he's like, I am hiring someone to come and take fingerprints of the toilet right now. It's not my fault this time.
And to lay the groundwork for it, Malcolm broke a cookie jar I gave to Jen early in our relationship.
Did acid or X or something and left a fucking faucet on in our house and woke up in a flood. That was a genius move.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, we were living in this house on Ledge in Toluca Lake.
Malcolm has lived with us for
came home
years at a time.
I guess he'd gotten very imbibed, and he had turned on his faucet and fell asleep, and we woke up to a flooded room. That house had a basement that was below the sewage level. I told him specifically, dude, don't use the fucking toilet in the basement, because he was staying in the basement. The basement had a big TV in it. It's his own apartment and shit. I said, whatever you do, if you got a shit, just come up the fucking stairs.
There's a bathroom right at the top of the
stairs. Don't use that fucking toilet. And he was like, I won't. And then fucking, the next day, he comes up in a panic, and he's like, there's poo on the floor, and there's water, and I swear to God it wasn't me. It's not me. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I went downstairs. And I'd had one of the rooms off the basement was a safe room with a lock on it. I had a bunch of artwork on the floor and some valuables and shit. and it was like getting dangerously close to going under that door.
And smelled a fucking fright.
Oh, it did, and I was screaming at him.
I was
just
screaming
like,
too.
It wasn't me. I swear to God, I will hire a private detective to dust for prints on the bowl and the poo. And he was so defensive about it. And then we had a plumber come out, and the plumber wound up checking into it, and he found a bunch of baby wipes.
Which I told you not to fucking flush down the toilet.
They were of the non-flushable
yes,
variety.
I know.
Not the flushable kind I was advocating 2 SModcasts ago. But the baby wipes you're not supposed to flush, and I was responsible for that, and it kind of leaked out of the plumbing. But
once it turned out well for Malcolm. That's the one and only time.
Malcolm, he's such a good guy, but he's such a clown sometimes. Remember we bet him like he wouldn't put a fork in his ass?
Yeah, that was a crazy night. And sing like the national anthem or something.
No, he sang, he put a fork in his ass. I think the bet was like
in our living room in front of people.
$270. It was only 5 of us total, including Malcolm.
And to be fair, we did horrible things as well.
Totally. But it was like $275. He had to stick a cork in his ass, like drill it into his ass, and sing Ragdoll.
While leaning over the pool table.
Yes, so everybody could see it. Why? Why are you getting uncomfortable talking about it?
I'm not uncomfortable. I just don't think that people are that interested.
You're out of your fucking mind, woman.
I mean,
people are more interested to hear about fucking and you fucking and a chick's perspective on fucking than they are the fucking Dopey Simpsons premiere.
But
or the Star Tours bus. I'm sure people listening are like, oh, I give a fuck about the Star Tours. Get back to anal.
It's not like I'm giving nuggets of, just golden information.
You'd be surprised. There are a lot of people that don't speak very candidly about sex. I think they would rather sit there and listen to you talk about, fucking butthole pleasures than fucking, anything else.
You do have an unusual interest in my asshole.
I'm a ring
Where
man.
he'll just sit there and
Lord
look
of the
at
Ring.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? All right, I
can
guess.
get hard in a fucking...
it is a
2
freak
shakes
show.
of a lamb tail.
It really is. And there's nothing special. So there's no,
there have been
nothing
times,
distinguishing about mine from anybody else's.
It's just hot and dirty and wrong.
But you don't even like my ass.
I do like your ass.
You think it's flat and too skinny.
Fucking take that back. That's not true. I worship your ass.
Have you or have you
but
not
lately,
lodged 2 complaints within the last week about my weight?
But that's a different fucking story. You can't say I don't like your ass. I love your ass, and I'm on record as being a big ass man.
What happened?
Your heart-shaped ass has kind of lost its heart shape because you're doing too much yoga and doing too much hiking on running, so some of the cushion has went away. It's more you becoming a flat ass. Having a white chick ass.
Well,
no junk in the trunk, as they say. But I'm not bitching about it where I'm like, well, I'm done with you. But it's just, I prefer the ass one that has the normal, your ass one that has the normal shape.
Right.
But I am very anally fixated.
Very
rectally fixated. Sphincterally fixated.
Deal with that.
What's to deal with?
But I don't
what do you think it is?
I don't imagine that, mine has been the only one that you've been interested in. I might be the only one who, lets you sit there and look at it.
Ever since I've been sexually active, I've been a real butt muncher.
Yeah. Ew. Gross.
Why do you think that is? What do you think it is? Is it just the dirtiness, naughtiness of it? I don't think it's a whole like, ooh, I like to be degraded, because it's not. Me wanting to be degraded would be like, do me a favor, shit on my mouth, would you? Or, I'm going to lay some tinfoil on my chest. Could you take a dump on me? Ew. But just, rim jobbing, I don't think is all that fucking aberrant and deviant.
No.
I mean, it may not be the norm, but there have been times where we've been in bed and fucking fooling around, and we have, some foreplay and whatnot, and I'm ready to go, you're ready to go, and then something happens, like the fucking kid beeps through on the intercom line,
worst, or beep, beep,
mom, or Gail will call up, or the dogs will be barking outside, and fucking one of us has to get up to do something, and then of course, like, I fucking lose my rigidity, if you will, and then you're like, are you ready? I'm like, not now, no. And then all I have to do is...
Take a look at this.
So I'll just be like, roll over for a second.
Back.
I just fucking gaze, and boom, it fucking snaps up.
It's so strange. Because again, nothing special to...
It is special, man. It's awesome. It's you're the dirtiest of dirty, the no-knowest of no-knows. It's weird. As much as I like nudity, I don't like the nudity live in person of somebody I know.
I know.
And even the partial nudity, or not even nudity, but just scantily clad. Like whenever... If you're up at this is rare, but if you're hanging up at the pool and your girlfriends are hanging with you in their bikinis, I can't be up there.
He's mortified.
Yeah, it's just like, it's weird because you can't not look, and it makes you uncomfortable.
I don't care if you look.
But it would bother me. I don't want
Do you want to tell the Shay boob story? Because I find it funny.
Yeah, Shay was getting changed in Harley's
Shay
room.
is my best girlfriend and a friend of all that we know.
Right. And she was getting changed in Harley's room, and I didn't even know it. And she was in there with Harley, getting changed in front of Harley.
Right.
And I went to get Harley, and I opened the door and walked in, and she was like shirt coming down or up or whatever. So I saw one of the boobs, and that was
And you
really.
fled.
And I was like, "Whoa!" And she was like, "Oh!" And quickly pulled down. And I really did have to fucking get out of there.
That was awesome.
But meanwhile, if you showed me a
and
picture
you,
of Shay
run back
naked,
to the room, you're like, oh my god, oh my
Yeah.
god, I just saw Shay. Oh my god. I'm like,
I was so unsettled by that.
I'm
but
sure
if you showed
Shay
me a
didn't
picture
give a
of her
shit.
like naked, I could look at it and shit like that. But being there live and in person, I was just like, ooh, I don't want to see Shay Carter's areola.
we have weird lines.
It is very
Weird lines.
very liberal in some places, very
Yeah.
conservative in others, and that's marriage.